Every day I wake up, wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
We are the Breakfast Club. Loren LoRosa's here as well. And let's get in some front page news. Start off with sports and Monday Night Football. The Vikings beat the Bears 27-24. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, y'all. So a lot to unpack this morning. Some new Jeffrey Epstein breaking news. We start in Washington, where lawmakers have released a 238-page birthday book once gifted to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday back in 2003. And inside is a note allegedly written and signed by President Donald Trump. Now, the book, put together by Ghislaine Maxwell, contains other handwritten notes, sketches, and messages from Epstein's high-profile circle of friends and associates. Trump's page, formatted like a conversation between him and Epstein, references two men having a conversation, and it ends with the line, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Now, this isn't the first time we've heard about this note. The Wall Street Journal, they first reported on this back in July. And at the time, Trump, he called it a fake and filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the paper. But this is the first time the image has been publicly released as part of Epstein's estate documents handed over to the House Oversight Committee. Now, the White House, they are pushing back. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she wrote a statement on social media saying President Trump did not draw the picture and he did not sign it. Now, in the Wall Street Journal, when they first broke this story, reporters caught up with the president as he was boarding Air Force One and pressed him for a response. Let's listen to that exchange.
You maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday? I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot.
So he's saying it wasn't him. He's saying it's somebody else that drew that letter and wrote that letter to him.
Exactly. Have you seen that letter, MB?
Yes.
The drawing?
Yes, I have.
I saw it too.
You saw it too. So it's just that outline of a nude woman's body with the secret. And so lawmakers are asking, what is this secret that they're talking about? And so yesterday, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he said he's now walking back his comments, saying that Trump acted as an FBI informant during the Epstein investigation. And he's clarifying that. Let's listen to what he had to say.
What I was referring to in that long conversation was what the victim's attorney said. More than a decade ago, President Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and he was one of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who was a disgusting child abuser, sex trafficker, all the allegations. That's what they heard. So the president was helpful in that. I don't know if I use the right terminology, but that's common knowledge, and everybody knows that. So this is much ado about nothing.
So it just seems as more documents and more things keep coming out, Republicans are having to walk back their comments. They're having to deny what we can see with our own eyes. And so we'll continue to see what's happening. A bipartisan group of House Democrats, they're still pushing for the release of additional Epstein files. Meanwhile, Trump is reportedly still dismissing all of this and calling it a Democratic hoax.
They should never stop talking about it. I keep saying it over and over. Treat it the way, Republicans be treating transgenders in sports. Right? I don't believe that painting, though. I'm going to be honest with you, that drawing.
You don't believe it?
You don't think it's a real letter?
I think somebody down with Trump planted that.
Or to make it seem so crazy.
Make it seem
like,
so.
This ain't mine.
Exactly. Because once you debunk that and prove that it's fake, then maybe people will start looking at everything else like it's fake. It just seems too. It just seems too damn silly to be real. I'm not saying that it's not a silly administration. It just seems too silly to be real. I thought that months ago. I said that months ago when that letter first came up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and while the White House continues facing fallout from the Epstein revelations, the Trump administration just scored a major legal victory at the Supreme Court, one that could have sweeping implications for immigration enforcement here in California. On Monday, the court lifted a lower judge's limits on immigration stops in the Los Angeles area, allowing federal agents to once again stop and question people based on factors like speaking Spanish, the type of work they do, or even being present in locations where undocumented migrants are believed to gather. The administration had asked for an emergency intervention, calling the restrictions a straitjacket on its enforcement efforts in Southern California. Now, the order was split 6-3, with the court's conservatives siding siding with the Trump administration. Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote separately, suggesting the plaintiffs likely have no legal right to sue and predicting the administration will likely prevail in the broader case. But in a sharp dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, she warned the ruling opens a door to racial profiling. She wrote, "We should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job." She was joined by Justices Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The ruling, it tosses out a July decision from a Biden-appointed judge who put limits on immigration stops in Southern California, and that judge said agents can't rely on race, the type of work that you do, or physical location. But this new ruling now will apply to Central District of California, and that's an area where nearly 20 million people live.
So what's new other than they made it legal? Like, they've always racially profiled people. They just can't get in trouble for it now. Mm-hmm. They're just saying it out loud and putting it on the books that, we're not going to be punishing nobody if they do get caught doing it. But this is always been happening.
Absolutely. But civil rights groups, they filed lawsuits and things like that after it was happening here in California, after ICE was here in California, and they had that downtown raid and all the things that they were doing. And so this is just this is just what happened from that lawsuit, Charlamagne.
All right. Well, thank you, Mimi. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Loren LoRosa is here as well. She's actually broadcasting from Delaware State University. And let's get back in some front page news. Now, some quick sports. The Vikings beat the Bears in Monday Night Football, 27-24. What up, Mimi?
Good morning, y'all. So over the weekend, President Trump's immigration crackdown collided head-on with his international trade agenda. It started at a Hyundai LG battery plant in Georgia, where U.S. immigration officials carried out a major raid, arresting more than 300 South Korean workers.
Jesus.
This comes just weeks after the U.S. and South Korea celebrated a $350 billion trade deal. Now, that agreement was designed to strengthen economic ties, boost manufacturing, and create thousands of jobs here in America. But now that celebration is turned to tension between the two countries. South Korea's foreign minister has called an emergency meeting, saying his government feels a heavy sense of responsibility for its citizens. Officials in Seoul are now negotiating directly with Washington, and many of the detained workers are expected to leave voluntarily rather than face deportation. And the response could escalate quickly. South Korea is even considering sending a high-level delegation to the U.S. and the foreign minister says they may have to personally travel to Washington if necessary. Trump was asked about this yesterday on the tarmac as he was headed to Air Force One, or towards Air Force One. Let's listen to what he had to say.
We heard about it yesterday. At the same time, ICE was doing right because they were here illegally. But we do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves. Does that make sense?
Is it straining the relationship with Korea at all?
No, we have a great relationship with South Korea. Really good relationship. We just made a trade deal.
I mean, it was so, I don't know if any of y'all seen the video. It was one of the workers at the Hyundai plant in Georgia, and she was running from ICE agents, and people hit her. And she was like, the way that they busted in, that there was helicopters there. She was hiding in between, I guess, different offices and behind the walls. And she actually made it out. But just seeing her cry and her tear up and thought that she wasn't going to see her family again, it was definitely heartbreaking.
Yeah, and MB, the thing about this raid is that they were invited here, right? So the administration, they had an agreement with South Korea. These were invited workers. They were here they were specialized technicians. They were sent to help build the factories and the administration that they have been encouraging. And so for ICE to raid that location, they were not expecting that. And so South Korea and America, there's some little friction there. Although Trump says that there's not, there is. And so the South Korean vice foreign minister, he summed up the frustration by saying, we spent a lot of money in the United States and we got slapped in the face. So we'll see what happens with that. Mm-hmm. And the IRS is putting taxpayers on alert, warning that viral tax hacks on TikTok and other social platforms have already cost Americans more than $162 million in penalties. So here's the latest scam. Here's two of the biggest ones right now. The agency says that people are falling for misleading advice about the sick and family leave credit and the fuel tax credit. So the sick and family leave credit, it was created during the pandemic to help self-employed workers. So think freelancers, rideshare drivers, small business owners who couldn't work in 2020 or 2021 because they were sick with COVID or they were caring for a loved one or they were just home with the kids while daycares were closed. But here's the issue. TikTok experts are now telling everyone that they can claim that credit right now on their current tax returns. And that's wrong because that credit expired in 2021 and it never applied to traditional workers. And the second red flag that we're seeing is the fuel tax credit. Now, this tax credit was designed for off-highway businesses, meaning farmers, truckers, and businesses that use fuel for things like tractors, construction, and generators. But social media influencers, they're claiming anyone can use it to get a bigger refund. So to put just gas in your car, you can use the tax fuel refund, and that is incorrect. The IRS says if you're driving on a public road, you don't qualify. And so there's been a surge in questionable refund claims. It's leading to delayed claims, denied claims, $5,000 in fines, and an audit. And so tax experts say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And the bottom line is don't let TikTok do your taxes. And just a reminder as we... Would you say, Charlamagne?
No, I was just going to say, between TikTok and these so-called financial gurus giving y'all tips on how to avoid paying Uncle Sam, all of y'all going to end up in jail. And I feel sorry for these people because they are really looking for information and they're just simply getting misinformed. Like, go to actual tax experts. You know, in America, you got to spend a little bit of money to save a little bit of money and to make a little bit of money. So I know that you may not want to pay somebody to do your taxes, but go get somebody who actually knows what they're doing, an actual expert, to do your goddamn taxes.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying. They're saying talk to a real CPA or a tax pro. And just as a reminder, if you filed for an extension, October 15th is the deadline to get those in. And if you are in a disaster relief area like a wildfire area, though that date will also apply to you. You have until October 15th to get your taxes in. And this story for this morning is just right on time as Loren is at Delaware State. New York City just made history opening the first HBCU-focused preparatory high school in a major U.S. city. Now, the HBCU Early College Prep High School is located in Jamaica, Queens. It is designed to expose students to the culture, the legacy, the opportunity offered by HBCUs. The principal, Dr. Asia Johnson, she is a proud Delaware State University graduate. She says the goal is simple, to give students a head start and a broader vision for their futures. Now, interest in the school has been overwhelming. There were only 100 seats available this year, but more than 1,000 students applied. To get in, students had to submit an essay solving a community issue in healthcare or technology and record a 2-minute video explaining why they plan to, or how they plan to use their degree and how they plan to give back. Starting in 11th grade, students can take online courses taught by Delaware State University professors, earning up to 64 credits. That's the equivalent of an associate's degree before they even graduate high school. And so students are guaranteed, even better, students are guaranteed admission into DSU once they complete the program. So, Loren, your school is doing big things. I went to Howard, so shout out to all HBCUs, but Delaware State on this one is doing great things.
Now, I want to say, if we want to encourage kids to go to HBCU, should Delaware State be the leader? I feel like Mimi. I'm just saying, Mimi. No. Howard, no. I can see Howard. No. I can even see Hampton. I can see South Carolina State, but Delaware, like seriously, like should they be the leaders on this?
Stop it, man.
Or yes, this is your moment.
Be the leaders. Yes, they should be the leaders because you know what happens when Delaware State becomes the leader of the conversation? We get more people like me to come and work with y'all. Well, I just got a note from the radio station too. They wanted y'all to know this is the renovated station after COVID. So they have new equipment now. It might be small, but they're mighty. Okay, they say they're open to all the support though.
First of all, tell them we ain't saying nothing about the equipment. We talking about that little nasty ass banner, that little nasty ass towel.
That's fine because the Breakfast Club is going to sponsor some branding in here. That's what they're hearing. Well, that's what they're rooting for.
That's a football game towel. That's from the game.
That's what they're put more money to the football team than the station. Yes. But on the real, Dr. Asia Johnson, who is running that in South Jamaica, Queens. If you're out there listening, you know Queens is my borough. That's where I'm from. I would love, and I'm sure I will bring Loren with us. We would love to come down and talk to the students. Whenever you need us, we will be there for you. I love what you're doing and the fact that you're encouraging students to go to HBCUs. The only reason I went to a HBCU was I seen a different world, and that encouraged me. I thought, to me, a different world was Hampton University, and that was the reason why I went. So the fact that if you need us, we will be there. You can DM us. You can call out people. If you're from Queens, I'm sure that you know somebody that knows my mama. So please hit us up. We would love to support you in all that you are doing. I love what you're doing, even though you went to Delaware State.
I actually am in contact with her already, and y'all are a call back.
Okay, all right. We'd love to.
Thank you for that story, Mimi.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, that's your front page news. I'm Mimi Brown. Follow me on social at Mimi Brown TV. And for more news coverage, follow the Black Information Network or download the free iHeartRadio app and visit BINnews.com.
Thank you so much.
Hold up. Every day I wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?